What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel, Pete's Carport. This is gonna be a very fun and interesting video. As you may know, I went down and picked up a welder from Harbor Freight. It is their least expensive one, and we're gonna test it out today on floor pans. So let's get started. I'm gonna show you guys real quick what I picked up. I picked up the Flux 125 welder, a pretty cool welding helmet, some grinding wheels, some wheel cutters, a angle grinder, some extra basically welding flux core here as recommended by a lot of people in the reviews, some welding gloves, and we're gonna get started. Keep in mind, I've never welded in my life. This is my first project, so this is going to be a true hands-on review of this product. Alright, so according to the Harbor Freight Welding Flux 125, everything you need to weld is in the box. But according to the reviews online, which I did a ton of research before purchasing this, everyone mentioned pick yourself up some better welding gloves, a better mask, and also pick yourself up some better flux core welding wire, because the one that comes with it is garbage. It'll fall apart. So I went ahead and did all of those things for you guys, and let's crack open the box and take a look at what we've got inside. Obviously we got instructions. We'll take a look at those. Not sure what this is yet. We're gonna figure that out. This looks like a brush here. These actually just look like pieces that are going to be attached to the welder. Not sure what's in these boxes, but let's go ahead and see if we can get them cracked open so we can kind of see what we've got here. Alright, this is a shade, so that's probably the shade to the mask that everybody says is a piece of crap. So, we're going to be using our own mask. Let's see what this is right here. Get this box open. Alright, that is your welding wire there, so that's probably something we're not going to use as well. So let's go ahead and pull this top box off here. And let's see what the welder looks like. It felt pretty heavy in the box, which is cool. I mean, $100 on sale over at Harbor Freight. And by purchasing that, and you can see here, this is where that plastic piece is probably going to mount to. Let me see if I can get this out real quick. Okay, and it's out, and basically there's some rubber feet on the bottom of this. It feels very heavy duty. You've got your cables and stuff right here. Looks like everything is kind of attached. You've got your cord here. That's your welder where you're going to run your wire through. I believe we open up the box because I have seen a couple of videos and saw some reviews on this, and our wire gets loaded into there. We'll do that in just a second. Underneath that is this piece of junk mask. I thought it was actually just a piece in there to hold the welder in. It is very flimsy. We are not going to be using that, so we'll set that off to the side. And our wire mesh here, and obviously our screen here. These look like your pieces that are going to go, yep, looks like they're going to mount right up on top there. Probably got some screws here that are going to hold that in. And then this looks like it might just be another piece that probably attaches to the back or front somewhere, maybe the side. But well, you know what? This is probably to hold the mask. Yes, look, it goes right on the front there. So that's going to be the piece to hold the mask. So you got your mask, your glass. I'm going to hold on to that in case I break my mask somehow. But I picked up this mask here. It was on sale for, I think, $34, so a great deal on that, and it's a much better welding mask. You can flip it up and flip it down. You have your hands free, and that's what everybody mentioned. It did come with a wired brush, which I actually need today to do some other projects I'm doing, so we'll hold on to that. But for those of you that don't know, we're going to take a look at the car in a second. I'm going to show you where we're at, and we're going to basically tack weld this in on this video, and then we're going to keep doing welding videos in the future. But I just wanted to crack the box open, show you guys what's inside, show you what I picked up to make this job easier. So let's go ahead and get it put together, and I'll explain to you what was needed to do that. Okay, so I skimmed through the instructions, and I'm going to tell you, they actually have awesome instructions, which is quite a surprise. They have full detailed instructions here, and then they have a quick guide, and then also up underneath here is another guide. So quite awesome on how they kind of show you all the different things you need to do. But let me show you real quick. basically, I got our handle on. There's just one screw that goes in there. The other piece that was in that bag is going to go on the end here, depending on what size the wire that you use to weld. But there's a button right up underneath here that you press in and you lift your gate. I can do that with one hand, as you can see. Now, if you got this new, you're going to basically have this little spool on here that's going to tell you to remove, put on next, this side up, put spring on next. So you're going to go ahead and get your spring on there. We're going to get our welding wire put on there, and I'll set that off to the side now because I've got to open this up. And then when you come over here to set everything, basically you're going to loosen this part up right here, and that's going to allow you to open that up, and that's going to allow you to swing this piece open here, and this is your tensioner for the wire. All this is in the instructions. The only part that I had an issue with was when getting this little cap off. It seems like it's a tight squeeze, and you almost have to like pull and turn. And then you're going to look at this. This is going to tell you your wire. See, we bought 0.3 wire. You could buy obviously 0.35 wire, and you're basically going to flip that to face up what size wire you have, and there's only 2 on there. I don't know if you can buy more of these pieces. After that, you're going to basically run your wire through here and set your tensioner. So I'm going to go ahead and get all that set up now. I quickly wanted to show you that. Please chime in if you guys get this and have questions. Maybe you lost your instructions, maybe you bought it used and you're just trying to get it set up. All this is in the instruction, that's why I went through it super quick, but I just wanted to show you how it kind of opened up, how everything looked, and how awesome these quick instructions were that came with this welder. Alrighty guys, so I decided that this is going to be a 2-part video because there's so much to setting this up if you've never welded just like me. I've never even touched a welder, but I've always loved the concept and idea, and I've always respected those that weld because I've seen there's a ton to it. It's an art, it's a craft, and I would love to start doing it myself, and this is the beginning. So if you guys out there are experienced, go ahead and laugh at what I'm doing here and fill me in on things that you see that are completely wrong, because I'm going to be doing this now for quite some time. I'm hoping many years of welding and just get better and better. So the great thing about this welder is they put these awesome charts in here, and there's not a whole lot of dials and stuff to this. So I've got this on right now, and I want to explain. I actually had the spring upside down, but they have a chart here that explains to you exactly how to, I'm sorry, right here, that explains exactly how to set up your spring and spool and everything in there. Also, when I first opened this spool, it was tacked down there, and I opened it before putting it on here, and the whole thing just sprung out, and I had to reset it up in there, and that's why it looks a lot loose right there. The next thing is setting up the tensioner, and if you don't read through the full instructions, you might miss this part. I had to go back and look at it again. You basically, which I'm going to do now, you're going to set a piece of wood about 3 inches from your welding wire, and you're going to pull your trigger, and if it doesn't bend up against that piece of wood, then you need to basically tighten up your tensioner so that you get more force. And if it does bend, then you're fine on your tension. The next thing is, in order to set your speed, as well as you know, any other guides that you need, based on the type of metal that you're going to be welding, it's going to tell you your voltage and speed. Here is what it's going to tell you. Okay, now this is just a guide. If you want to go higher on your speed, you want to go higher on your voltage, and you're experienced and you understand how to control that, obviously that's up to you, but this is just what Chicago Electric's guide is for this particular welder. So we're going to use that as our basis. We're going to basically use the full instructions, use that as the basis, and then I'm going to adjust those as I begin to weld today. So hopefully I can, tackle this job, and you'll see that in the second part of this video exactly what we're going to be doing, whereas this is basically just setup and usage on this welder, as well as how I feel this welder will do, the quality behind it and everything, which I love it right now. I mean, everything looks great. The instructions look great. The machine feels heavy duty, very easy to put together and set up. So we're going to go on to our next step. We're going to go ahead and set up to do a practice weld, and then part 2 is going to show you basically prepping the surface we're going to be grinding down the, taking out the back seat, taking out the front seat, grinding down the floorboard, and basically we got our piece of metal here that we've already went and shaped, and that's going to drop into the floor pan, and we're going to tack weld that on this video. Alright, so I've got everything set up. I actually did some pre-practice because I was having a ton of issues with getting the spool to keep coming out. So it kept like locking up as I was trying to weld, so basically no wire was coming out. And I played around with the tensioner. The tensioner was super tight, so I loosened that all the way back up. And I realized I had to put the top of the spool on a lot less tight. So I went ahead and did that and just practiced a few runs, and it seemed like it was a lot easier to use. I'm going to go ahead and set it up now so you guys can see how it welds, and this is an unexperienced welder just practicing. Alright, so as you guys can see, I'm still having issues with the wire locking up, and I don't know if that's because of the way it unspooled when I first set this up, that it's having issues going in. I'm going to play around with it a little bit more and show you guys a little bit more of the practice welding. Okay, so I think I figured out my issue of why the spindle was locking up. I kind of took everything back apart on the spindle, and like I said, when I first set this up, I went to pull the wire off and the whole thing just spun out, and a lot of it was getting caught up because I had wrapped it right back around itself, and I don't think it was easily free. So I've been just kind of playing around with it now, and it seems like that I'm able to get it to come out nicely now, and it's very strong. I got the tensioner set right, and so I'm going to show you guys how it welds now. Also, I wanted to fill you guys in. This helmet seems very nice. I went through the instructions. It can be used for many different welders, but it's super easy to adjust the size. You got this click on the back here. This is how you adjust the size on your head, which is really easy. You just kind of pull up and turn, and it adjusts very quickly. And then this is the tension for the up and down on the helmet to pull in front of your face. And if you look at the guide here, you can see based on the amps of the device and the type of device, you're going to set this. It says on there, based on, if you go to 125 on the Flux core, 10, 11, 12. I want to be extra safe, so I've got mine set right around 12. And then on the inside, it's got some really neat adjustments too, and this is all solar powered, and you can see it work as soon as you start welding. You've got your sensitivity and your delay, and I just played around with those, put the sensitivity on max, and I put the delay right in the middle. And and these gloves I picked up, this was right around 35 with the coupon at Harbor Freight, and that is the auto darkening welding helmet with blue flame design by Chicago Electric. I'll put everything in the link in the description. And then these Vulcan Defender gloves seem to be very, very nice. They're very comfortable, and they seem to be working really well. Now back to, let me show you guys some sample welds, and then hopefully we can get this car set up so that I can get some tack welding done on our floor pan, and we can start moving forward on the vehicle. Okay, as you can see, definitely not anything that I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to get used to how the device moves, how the wire comes out. And as you guys can see in the beginning there, the wire was locking up and it's getting kind of frustrating, but I can see now my spool is back to its original, so it's not like binding like it was earlier where it was coming out very crooked. So hopefully, towards the end there, it was coming out very nicely, so hopefully that's all fixed up, and when we start welding here, it's going to come out nicely. Okay, so here we go, guys. I've got the welder brought down here, and as you can see, the name of the channel is Pete's Carport. You can truly see that I work right out of a massive carport that I actually put in myself. It's a 60-foot carport. I can get 3 cars in here easily, and this one's squeezed in here, and I've got to work in a tight position. So first time ever welding, tight position, first time ever doing floor pans. Hopefully this comes out better than any of you expected, because I feel like this project is actually coming out really amazing compared to what in my mind I thought I could do from the beginning. But what I wanted to fill you in on is I went ahead and got the wheel grinder and the wire brush grinder and grinded all of this edge down. Wiped it down with simple green because it said to make sure it's free of grease and stuff. Hopefully that doesn't have anything in it that doesn't allow the weld to stick. Once again, if you guys know this, let me know and maybe I can re-weld it. I'm just going to be tacking this up right now because I loved the position that I got this in. It's very level, and I didn't want to move it anymore, so I'm going to tack it along here, and then I'm going to kind of hammer everything into shape here because you can see there's some gaps, and then start tacking it along there. But for this video, what we're going to do is just get a couple tacks along here so we can get used to it, and then the second video will show you the full welding and hammering it in and getting it shaped in there really nicely. So let's go ahead and get set up, and I'll show you guys how that comes out.